around 9 millimeter at the best, at the least. That was posting. Man hiding in Balkans. Dude, you have no idea. I cannot fucking wait. I'm gonna go back one day. I'm gonna come back one day. You watch me, motherfucker. I'm gonna have my Akimbo Desert Eagles straight from the Israeli Defense Force surplus. I'll just be firing wildly in the air, and I'll have one of those GoPros on. You guys will shit yourselves. One day I'll just start up my stream and it'll be me putting on a GoPro, and you'll be like, "No, what are you doing?" But then we'll go out. We'll go out for some friendly ranging. Well, I'll go out to my backyard with the range and just start firing rounds, and it'll be a wholesome big chungus day instead of a scary day. Sounds like a threat. Well, me saying I'm gonna come to your country probably is very threatening to people. Frank Castle. Okay. Your soy hand. I fired a weapon before. I own a weapon. I sold it before. Well, I didn't sell it. I gave it away before I left the U.S. because you can't take that shit with you. But I fired miniguns. Fired a H&K VP9. Fired a Taurus revolver. Fired a 9 millimeter. Fired a 22 rifle. I did not fire a shotgun though, because it's harder to find ranges that have shotguns because they have little pulleys that you put the targets on when you go shooting, and those strings that those targets hang on are can be damaged. So if you take a shotgun, chances are that you're gonna fuck up those strings. So they don't let you. But one day I will. Okay, next one. Psychologists say a good life doesn't have to be happy or even meaningful. From the World Economic Forum. Thank you for this uplifting message. What does a good life look like to you? For some, the phase may conjure up images of a close knit family, a steady job, a Victorian house at the end of a street arched with oak trees. Others may focus on the goal of making a difference in the world, whether by working as a nurse or teacher, volunteering, or pouring their energy into environmental activism. According to Aristotelian theory, the first kind of life would be classified as hedonic, or based in pleasure, comfort, stability, and strong social relationships. The second is eudaimonic. I don't know how to pronounce that. Eudaimonic, primarily concerned with the sense of purpose and fulfillment one gets by contributing to the greater good. So, chat, listen here, okay? Close knit families, steady jobs, Victorian house, oak trees. Come the fuck on. Look. The WEF wants you to know that if you want to have a good life, you don't have to be happy. You don't have to have any of these things. Fuck your oak trees. You want to be eudaimonic. You want to make a difference. Here's things that you can do to make a difference that the World Economic Forum and Bill Gates would approve of. A. Sterilize yourself. Very easy. If you're a woman, it's simple outpatient procedure. They just cut the tubes, and you're in and out one day. For a man, you just get the tubes tied, and then you can have all the box smashing days with yellow people that you want, strange, foreign, exotic horrors. You can go to Portugal and smash box there and do drugs, and it's like completely consequence free. So get sterilized. Number one. Number two, stop being a comfort creature with your possessions. Downsize. Really, you know how much greed. Greed is a folly of man. It's a deadly sin, even. So don't be greedy. You don't want to be greedy. You might think, why is the World Economic Forum promoting poverty? Don't you worry about that. Live in a box. Have all your possessions in a backpack, and then you can go wherever your spirit takes you. You can live cheaply in the hustle and bustle of the big city. It's all cool. And fuck, yeah, a house. Who needs a house? A house is wasted space. You could fit 4 or 5 Ukrainian and Middle Eastern refugee families in pods stacked on top of each other in the space that your Victorian house would take. And oak trees are a privilege, not an essential. Oak trees belong, and you take those down. And you grow food there. You grow food there so that you can feed all the Mexicans who now live in the United States. And by sacrificing, by giving up these things that are hedonistic, You become a eudaimonic person. You become fulfilled, and you, without even being happy or having a meaningful life, such as carrying on your genetic legacy and teaching children and having memorable moments with your family, you still have a good life. And it's better to be good than to be happy, chat. Thank you, Bill Gates, for this inspiring message. And speaking of good but not happy or meaningful, this is. I was linked to this by the guy who does the R Drama site. He posted it on the forum. This is a feminist news and opinion. And interestingly, in the state of Norway, well, it's not a state really, it's more of a country. I think it's a kingdom even. They have banned Shinigami Eyes, a Mozilla Firefox extension. I mentioned many streams ago that there was this extension for Firefox called Shinigami Eyes. And it's a reference to an anime, which unfortunately I'll talk about more in a bit. And it's a browser extension which will color links red or green, depending on if they're transphobic or trans friendly. And because it was specifically like Twitter accounts and stuff, like J.K. Rowling would be considered a transphobe. It fell under, according to the Attorney General of the country of Norway, the Kingdom of Norway, it fell under the GDPR data processing rules. Because you can't just make a list of people, of private individuals on Twitter, and then pass that list around. That's considered data processing by Norway. So they have made a decision to tell Mozilla to stop offering Shinigami Eyes as a browser extension to customers in Norway, which is a bit strange. That may apply to all EU citizens, actually. Eventually. I'm not sure if it will apply to just Norway or the EU. And what's funny is that this person who wrote this article decided that Lorelei Bailey would be mentioned. It has been rumored for quite some time that the Shinigami Eyes extension was written by Lorelei. I've mentioned Lorelei a couple times. This is a real picture of them. But this is it's not really a fun fact, but it is a true fact. Many years ago, in the early days of the forum, we had a thread on Lorelei, and Lorelei was a big advocate in the early days of the trans stuff, before anyone knew what a fucking tranny was a big advocate, and they are like a genuine deranged sex pest. Lorelei is named after the Elite Four Pokemon gym trainer who has the ice Pokemon. I just realized that. That's apropos of nothing in this story, but just food for thought. And they inherited a house from their grandmother and told at-risk trans youth that if they needed a place to stay, they could come to their luxurious villa under the oak trees at the end of the road. And one person directly told me in private message and provided a link to the video even that they went as a at-risk trans youth to meet Lorelei and stay at their house, and Lorelei got them fucked up on booze, and then his roommate / boyfriend fucked this guy in the ass, and Lorelei is in this video trying to get a blowjob, and he's like bouncing around and like trying to like do a reach around, and like the most awkward threesome that has ever been put on tape. And this was under like lorelei.info /fun /sexy stuff as like a video with all these other pictures of him in lingerie and stuff. So Lorelei has been alleged to be a rapist for a long time now, and whenever it gets, their reputation even in the trans community is utterly like they're reviled. Everyone knows that Lorelei is fucking repugnant, and nobody will associate with him, which is why he has to publish shit like Shinigami Eyes under pseudonyms, because if it ever came out that Lorelei Bailey wrote something, it would be dead in the water, because nobody likes Lorelei. And this is just them ranting about TERFs, as they do. They are one of the most hideous people I've ever seen, like unapologetically ugly. Now, speaking of trans people, as always, Trans kids treatment can start younger, new guidelines say. A leading transgender health association has lowered its recommended minimum age for starting gender transition treatment, including sex hormones and surgeries. The World Professional Association for Transgender Health said that hormones could be started at age 14, 2 years earlier than the group's previous advice, and some surgeries done at 15 or 17, a year or so earlier than previous guidance. The group acknowledged potential risks but said it's unethical and harmful to withhold early treatment. Speaking of, Fox News recently announced that they are celebrating Pride Month. And right now, across the country, there are boomers who are sitting there in their lazy boys in their Victorian houses at the end of the street covered in oak trees, who are now for the first time seeing things on Fox News which are hopefully reminding them that they caused this, that they had the option to end this in their lifetime and they chose not to. They decided to burn their bras in the fires to protest war, and they decided that communism is actually pretty cool, and they decided to leave their kid, to give all their trust to the Federal Reserve, to get off the gold standard, and to just completely ruin the entire country. And now, for the first time, many of them are sitting on watching Fox News and coming face to face with the fact that it's their fault.
Pride Month continues as we highlight the story of Rylan Whittington, whose journey of transitioning at age 5 has been seen by 7 million people in a family YouTube video. Brian Yanis has the story about that family that hopes their experience can help others. Watch here.
If you saw me walking down the street, you wouldn't think anything different.
14-year-old Rylan Whittington is a typical Southern California teenager. And the Whittingtons, along with mom Hillary, dad Jeff, and sister Brinley, are a typical family. The only difference, though, in Rylan's eyes, is what this family can mean to the tens of thousands of kids under 18 who identify as transgender.
We put our story out there so people could see that there's another family out there that is going through what we're going through, or there's another family who's proud of who they are.
Before Rylan could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I could just see it wasn't him trying to be a brat. It was painful. It was truly painful for him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
And unlike some trans kids, when Rylan came out at age 5, a few years later, he had the full support of his parents.
Initially, there was some pushback from us in trying to understand this.
We were confused like most people are. We thought that gender and sexuality were the same thing. It took us a while to figure out that those two things are different and that children actually do recognize their gender identity very young. Some of them, not all.
But they listened to Rylan and to Hillary's conservative faith.
For me, it's just a deep spiritual belief that you believe in God and He, created us the way He wanted us. Well, then yes, He created Rylan just the way he is.
There is some boomer literally out there who watched this and thought, everything that I've done in my life was a horrible mistake, and I should have been out there with Molotovs instead of protesting the Vietnam War. And it's number one, it's so number one, this is Fox News purporting this as a great thing. That's great. Number two, it's so fucking obvious that this woman is responsible for this. She said, "Oh, it was so obvious to me before he could speak." When he was a toddler, walking around with a pacifier in his mouth, or her mouth, that this was meant to be a boy. No, bitch, you fucking crazy, and you live in California, and you want to talk about how your kid's transgender, and your fucking Starbucks groups and shit. And then, at the end, to top it all off, just a little wholesome Big Chungus blasphemy.
Spiritual belief that you believe in God and He, created us the way He wanted us. Well, then yes, He created Rylan just the way he is.
We believe in God, and God created us just the way He wanted us, which is why it's important for my daughter to dress and act like a boy and take artificial hormones, even though he has a 2X chromosome. Good job, boomers. You did it again. You knocked that one out of the park. Wonderful. could have prevented this.
We
but
got
alas.
pig.
So, segueing from the trans issue to my next topic, there's a little bit of
But my
some
pens
sinew
are all
holding this
failing
together.
me.
If you remember, some time ago, a person who may or may not be named Bew allegedly killed him and or herself in an act of revengeance against the Kiwi Farms, which was revealed to the world. But I'm not talking about Ezra Miller. I don't fucking care about celebrities. I really don't. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise that some other Hollywood elite molested people. I'll give you a hint. They all fucking do it. They all do it. Every single celebrity that you can think of, I don't give a fuck if it's Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Ezra Miller, they have either been raped or do rape. Every single one of them. There are no heroes. If they get put onto a silver screen in Hollywood, if they are a member of Congress, if they are in the political elite, like there's pictures of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. Guess what? That motherfucker went to Epstein Island and fucked kids too. I bet you every single one of them did. I bet you, what's his face? Ivanka Trump was poured out from the age of 3. They're all evil. It's not complicated. They just want to fuck kids. And they want to talk about fucking kids and laugh about it behind your back, and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, okay, another celebrity was raping kids. And then guess what? Vince Vaughn sexually tried to force a woman, a female referee, to give him a blowjob. And then when she said no, he raped her. I believe that too. And Dick Masterson's on Twitter saying this is great. Who doesn't rape women? So it's like, whatever. Okay, you know what? If it's a celebrity, if they're on the payroll of some big Hollywood studio, they rape, or they get raped, okay? Or they do both. I'm sure there's lots of women out there who were raped, and now they're just okay with it, and they rape too. And it's just like, that's the circle of life, you know? It's eat or be eaten, motherfucker. Don't. Anyways, so there's Hector Martin. Hector Martin was the person who announced to Twitter after Bew allegedly killed him and or herself, and is a core developer on the Asahi Linux distribution. He is a weeaboo. He was from Madrid, but they worked together in Tokyo, and both were a part of low-level development and emulations, I'm pretty sure. He used to be a developer for Pixev, and now he just kind of does whatever and collects anime figurines while living in Tokyo. So we can see here in his Reddit history that he talks about Cerno being the strongest. Oh, remember what I said about Cerno? This person definitely watches little ice fairies get fucking decapitated. One thing is that Bew has committed suicide, and then a couple months later he's talking about Cerno. Actually, 1 month later he's talking about Cerno. Can Cerno become the strongest idol in Gensyokyo? I hope she did it. Now, he has been shilling a VTuber named Asahi Lena. Not Linux. This is a VTuber now called Asahi Lena. And he has been advertising her, or him, definitely him, on Twitter. And at one point, there was a wacky thing where Asahi Lena took over Hector Martin's Twitter account, which has thousands and thousands of followers, because he was the one who wrote the story about Bew, to shill their Twitter account. And then even Kanini, or whatever the fuck this guy's name is, he goes by Ariadna Connell, but they went by Kanini or Kaninin or something, or Kaninshin. I don't know what the fuck their name was. It just means bunny in Swedish or some shit. And
he blocked me on
this
Twitter.
is what they look like.
Ethan Rowland
now this
blocked
person
me on Twitter, so I can't
Kanini
see the fucking
said,
picture.
BGP
so
is a
I can't
protocol
draw
on
the
type
fucking
length value
rage
frames.
quit.
Microtik is a vendor that hires Muppets for developers because they're Slavs. You know, Slavs can't do anything right. But what if we send the BGP message to a Microtik with an incorrect link that are such as 5,000? I'm sure a website relating to farming various fruits knows what happens. Now we do use Microtik, so they're sitting here thinking like, how do we shut down the Kiwi farms? Maybe we can do a BGP-based attack on them, and they're bragging about it on Twitter, I guess. I don't think anything ever came about from this, and this is what they look like. And by the way, they're from Northeast Oklahoma. Did I mention this last stream? I feel like I mentioned the Oklahoma last stream. Because it's like, these people are coming out of like, this is like the middle of the country. And they're ruining it for everybody. West Virginia has trannies. Maine elected in Portland, a first generation Somali immigrant Muslim woman as like their mayor. From northeastern Oklahoma comes whatever the fuck this is. And by the way, I think they look exactly like this picture of this thingy from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's just pretty much a 1-to-1 match. But this monster is trying to shut down my website, and I'm the bad guy. Anyways, so this person knows Hector Martin, is my point. And they're advertising them about VTubers. And apparently they're even a part of some big fucking VTuber group of, I think, tech-related VTuber personalities. You have, like, Asahi, Lena. This is their group is called Null Pointer Live. This is Lethal Bit, Lena Asahi, Luna Fox Girl. That is the most trans name ever. Luna Fox Girl. Wow. Foxgirl.gay. And then K. Whatever the fuck. So, guys, I don't think I've ever played any VTuber. Actually, no, I did once. Shamefully. But let's check out a VTuber from the Hector Martin stream. You ready? Oh no. My computer, my shitty broken computer or web server may be trying to save you guys right now. You know what? I even went over here and I clicked play to try.
Any of your computers.
No, thanks for letting me borrow your ThinkPad.
What? I never gave you permission to.
You didn't say no.
Wait, don't you have two MacBooks?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I have 4. Air, Pro, M1 Pro, and M1 Max. But the other 3 are for hypervisor use only.
And you wonder why you get calls from the credit card company.
It's not my job.
You're a student. Studying is your job. You're gonna fail your classes if you spend all of your time writing drivers.
Jimmy, that only happened once.
If it
I
happens,
just realized they have a Spanish accent, so this is definitely just Hector Martin's like troon sewn up. But
again, I'm telling our parents.
You weren't there.
Wouldn't I?
the Spanish accent and the falsetto is it's making me think of Cartman's little like hand puppet for Lopez. What the fuck is her name? Jennifer. My name is Jennifer Lopez, and I like tacos y burritos. And that is exactly the voice that.
Don't you also spend time writing drivers?
Oh no, I love you, Ben. Tacos and burrito flavored kisses.
Responsibly, in between classes, and from a laptop with every. You're reckless. You don't
Say
take
it.
these-
Speak more.
One thinks it's about the beer. It's
No.
not. I don't drink.
It's not
Named
about
after
the
the
beer.
Macintosh Apple. Hold on.
Oh, wonderful. So there's a new hot VTuber for you all to check out. If you like taco, if you like taco flavored kisses, you can check out Jimmy Lennox. Yeah, and enjoy some quality programming streams. Okay, now this one's not a fake tranny VTuber. I would like to tell you all about a story, a true and honest Kiwi Farm story. First of all, I want to do a poll, just real quick. How old do you think this character is? How old do you think this character is? Under 12, 13 to 16, I'll say. And then over 16. We'll just do a nice little poll here and see what people think. Because now, apparently, this is an unpopular opinion based on the feedback that I've received from my moderation decisions over the last week. I feel like I need to ground myself in reality. So a little bit of community poll. 13 to 15, 16, dude, under 12. So this is what happened. I deleted, where do I want to start with this? I deleted pictures of this character in lingerie. And it was kind of like they were positioned sexually, and there was like lingerie, and I'm just like, this is like 3D lolicon. I'm just going to delete this because this is like a child character model. I'm just going to delete this. And I left a note, and I said something like, I want to crush weeaboo skulls with my boot or something. That was my removal message. So in this post, I just deleted the softcore stuff. I didn't ban anyone. I didn't, lock the thread. I didn't even make a post about this. I just edited the message, kind of like the mods on the Microsoft board. I just left a message like, I deleted these pictures because I thought they were underage looking, and they're kind of sus, and I don't know what they are, but I'm not okay with it. So I left it there because the rule for that thread is no thirst posting. There's no porn. There's no thirsting over the characters or whatever the fuck. I would allow. I'll say that for later, but. And then people got mad at me for this and said Josh is spurging out again. He's fucking with the thread. And I'm just like, bro. And I even took, because I know that in art, in drawing, there's like, you can age a character by how many heads tall they are. Because your head proportionally grows slower than the rest of your body. So if your head, as an adult, your head is like, you're 7 or 8 heads tall. And then as a teenager, you're like 6 heads tall. And then like as a preteen, you're like 5 heads tall. And then you're like 4 and less as a child. So I did the test. I actually drew it out. This character is 5.5 heads tall, which is about 13 to 15. So everyone who guessed 13 to 15, your eyes do not deceive you. Because that's what my totally scientific test came out to. And I know they have exaggerated features and shit, but it looks like a fucking kid. I don't know what to tell you. So the poll results were 80% under 16, but 13 to 16 was 42%. It was basically split between under 12 and 13 to 16. So I'm talking about this with them, and I'm just like I'm like flabbergasted that they're angry with me for this. It's like this shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing that is complicated at all. This character named Sashi was voiced by this woman, alleged woman. I'm pretty sure. And I did not know this when I deleted the images. But the pornographic, softcore pornography of this character put out was done by this woman. She had a Patreon for her VTuber shit, because this was a small-time character. She had a Patreon for it, put out the lingerie photos of the character on her Patreon to get money. And then Sashi graduated, which means that because all of the characters are in high school, I fucking guess, because they graduate, and then they're out, and probably because they did this and it pissed off the studio, released Ecchi or whatever of their character. Now they come back as Amelia Watson. So this one is famous. Amelia Watson has like 1.6 million subscribers on YouTube. They made over 500,000 pounds of income off just super chats, not even including anything else. So I've definitely seen this character before. I never saw Sashi before that post, but I've definitely seen this one. So it's like this is one of the big ones that is really famous. And their voice actor is this degenerate freak who releases lolicon pictures on their Patreon. And I guarantee you that they retired and moved to Amelia just because they got into trouble with their studio. Over that, and that's why this character is more. It looks a little bit older. It's more proportioned, more like an adult. So then I think that's it. I argue with people and said, really, enough's enough. Don't post any porn. And if you had characterized it as this person did this thing, and I'm criticizing that, I'm like, okay, that's one thing. You can archive stuff, but that the post was like, have you guys seen these before? Here's the porn. It's like, okay, the porn is not a porn sharing website. It's not. I don't allow that for anything. Even in threads about OnlyFans whores, you have to if you're gonna post something not safe for work, you have to characterize it as a criticism. So I'm gonna hold the VTubers to the same standard. It's not just a porn sharing site. You have to actually be saying something with what you're posting. And I leave it at that, and I leave. And then I find out a day later, because somebody complains and talks to staff, says there is a person in one of the community boards who is poking fun at people in the VTuber thread on their Discord. I'm thinking, what Discord? So it turns out that after the first time I yelled at the VTuber people, they made an emergency bunker Discord, and they all crowded in. And there's like 200 people in this fucking Discord, which is just a VTuber Discord for the Kiwi farms. And now there are people in that Discord who are spying on them because they freak out anytime I make fun of them on the site. And I'm like, so you're asking me to protect you and your off-site activity from reprisal on site from people who aren't doing this gay shit. And I never got a reply from that person, but I looked at it and I'm like, there's 5 different porn boards on your Discord. Why do you need 5 different porn boards for your Discord? This one says lewds not safe for work, which I don't know what the fuck that means. How is something lewd and safe for work at the same time? I guess like not explicit. That's etchy. That's like the lingerie stuff is quote unquote safe for work. Then you have lewds not safe for work, which is just porn. Then you have lewds cosplay, which is real women, I guess, dressed like this character. Imagine being so desperate for attention as a real woman on the internet that you have to dress up as a fucking as Watson, as like a Watson anime character, and then fuck yourself just to get men to pay attention to you. Like, no, actually, I won't. Your titties in Vigumba do not interest me unless you're dressed like my favorite anime character. Could you please dress like this for me, please? And then it gets put into this fucking, it gets shared, it gets stolen. Somebody just steals it and uploads it on some shitty Discord server. Then there's lewd cursed. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm going to assume the worst and say it's probably lolicon or like gore or something. And then there's lewds other. So it's not, so lewds other is for lewds that are not safe for work, not safe for work, cosplay, or curse. I have no clue what would fall into that category. It seems like the other 4 conclusively cover 100% of all possible topics that could exist for any pornographic picture. But for some reason, something happened. I guarantee you that when they sat down and laid out the boards, they started with lewds. And then people got into a fight like, I just want to post wholesome, etchy lingerie of 13-year-old girls, and these people are posting her getting fucked. It's like, okay, well, we'll make a safe for work and a not safe for work version of this board. And then in the not safe for work version, someone started posting cosplay, and then they complained saying, can we get these 3D pig disgusting real flesh women out of my lewds not safe for work category? Nobody wants to see that shit. That looks like roast beef. All my anime characters have better looking vaginas than that. Like, okay, fine. We'll make the cosplay category for that one. And then someone posts some really fucked up shit in not safe for work where it was like, okay, we need a special category for this one guy who's into this really, really fucked up fetish. And then somebody went to the cursed one and posted something that offended that guy. And he says, I need another one for this guy because he crossed the line. I'm not putting up with that. I can't share a space with this fucker. He is crazy. So that became lewds other. And then somewhere in between this, these people have found enough time to complain about me for 22 pages of search results in this Discord, where it's just like, okay, but we need to end this. We need an emergency meeting to decide what to do now that Nola's complaining about our lolicon again. We have to figure out what we're gonna do. Just a mess. So I make fun of them for that, and I say, look, I never, like, I try really, like, and people get mad at me on this and say, oh, Josh is, whatever, is trying to force people to be friends with him by keeping them on the site. But it's like, I try to, like, the reason why I work hard to get the chat to look right is because I don't want people to have a reason to go off site. I know that there's 2 reasons that people are driven off site, primarily. A, voice chat, which I will never offer because the one time the Kiwi Farms had a voice chat, a user named Pine Tar threatened to rape somebody because he got too drunk. So since 2015, we've never had a voice chat or TeamSpeak or a Ventrilo because people can't stop raping each other in the voice chat. So that's just been even when we had the Sneed cord back in the day, the rule was that the voice chat was not open unless there was a moderator there because then people are less inclined to be retarded. And we would just close the voice chat if nobody was actively moderating it. So, so yeah, I know voice chat's a thing that some people want. I will never provide that, and if people need a voice chat for whatever reason, I would trust me, you don't, because people are autistic and annoying, and it's just awkward being in a voice chat with a bunch of people from the forum. in general, being in one of those Discord voice chats where it's like 20 people who do nothing all day but are just like passively plugged into voice with their mics open so you can hear them typing and like vaping and shit. It's just the worst auditory experience you can ever possibly inflict on each other. I have no interest in voice chats, what I'm saying. So then the other one is band users. And that's why I'm thinking about reforming the rule set so that we never permanently ban someone unless they're like actually like a menace, because it is true